Well, and welcome to the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast number 21, live and recorded from the Go Spurs Go Memes Network studio. I am your host, Ray, joined by the cast of merry men, Sean, Clay, Buddy, Frank, and Jack. Gentlemen, I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. I've had a busy as hell week. I am exhausted, but we are here tonight. I'm glad that we're back in the studio. This already sounds a whole lot better. Last week, us trying to do it via Skype sounded like we were talking into potatoes. So that's the kind of segue to say, hi, Sean. How are you?
Hi, Frank, Ray, whoever you are. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. It's had a real busy week. It's been absolutely nuts for me, so I'm tired.
Well, we had a funeral in the family.
Oh, yay.
It happened.
You always have that wonderful news.
Exactly. Way to bring the show down.
It gets better. I had a birthday. Woo!
Woo! Oh yeah, that's right. Late happy birthday.
Thanks, Dick. And then I was helping my parents this past week around the house. I was helping my dad trim trees outside. He almost hit me with a limb.
Nice.
When he goes, "Was that close?" I go, "Dad, if it was any closer, I could have been governor of Texas."
Oh,
Right,
Jack. How are you, Jack? I feel like I haven't seen you in weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while. I had an ear infection. My ear almost fell off.
Jesus,
What's going on with her?
It's kind of hard.
it was like the dark of 2016.
I
I don't
think that's
know.
what happened to Monet.
Were you going to send your ear to Clay? Clay, how are you, my friend?
Clay's here.
Clay's here in studio.
I have both ears. That's a good start. Oh, man, I'm doing great. Happy to be in the Go Spurs Go Meme studio and had a big week. My father has accepted an induction for somebody else at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo Hall of Fame. So
Very good. Was it a horse?
it was not a horse.
It was not a horse, okay.
BoJack Horseman was not inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm just glad we're back in the studio already. We sound 1,000 times better than we did last week. Buddy, how are you, my friend? I almost skipped you. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm just in the tired range with you. Right now.
I'm exhausted. I really am.
Lucky that I didn't get hit like lightning. That was the thing that it was good.
Yeah, I was hoping to get to sleep early last night, but after that Spurs victory, I was kind of just wired up.
Oh my god!
And my phone was going nuts because of all the comments and likes and shares from Go Spurs Go memes on Facebook and on Twitter and everything else. I mean, my phone has just been dying very, very quickly, especially with all the on Twitter, because of course everyone's trying to do the hashtag NBA vote, Kawhi Leonard. Everyone's retweeting everything. I mean, you basically could put a picture up of a hot dog. If you put NBA vote Kawhi Leonard,
Challenge
it's going to get retweeted. Yeah, no, I am serious. Like, the Spurs fans are in droves trying to get Kawhi Leonard to start for that All-Star game. But I don't know. I kind of find it funny that the last two times that those total votes have come out, that Kawhi is still about 2,000, maybe about 2,500 votes away from Draymond Green.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of find that funny that
I think it's
votes
I
are
honestly
similar.
think it's rigged. I mean, it's just no coincidence that like Bryant has like some like what is double the second guy or something like that.
But that doesn't surprise me that Kobe does, because people
going away game.
Yeah, it's his
Jordan
going
had the
away
same thing.
thing. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me any. I won't go as far to say that that it's rigged or whatever. But I think for the Spurs themselves, I don't think they care.
Yeah.
It's not about All-Star games; it's about winning championships. So I don't really think that they care.
And it's not like he's not going to go anywhere.
Right. He's going to be part of the All-Star game anyways. He just may not start. So whatever.
And Draymond
Anyways.
Green is having a good year. It's not like he's having a bad year. He's not having a Kobe
He's having a good year. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say he's having a great year, but he's having a pretty good
No, he's
year.
having a good year.
Well, he had 3 straight triple doubles, so it's not a bad year.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
that's-
true.
I mean, if that's cool.
I mean, if that's cool.
Way to go there, Closet Warriors fan.
I want to take off my Warriors hat.
There you go. Just teasing. Anyways, I think it's time for us to go over the news. Yeah, any day. Yeah, there you go. It took a little bit.
I had to dust it off. I'm sorry.
All right. So prior to last night's games, the Spurs had only trailed for a total of 54 seconds in the fourth quarters at home at the AT&T Center. So that changed a little bit last night. The Spurs have the most consecutive road game streak where they are actually holding opponents under 100 points. Manu Ginobili has now played more NBA games than Larry Bird. Ginobili has now played in 899 games. Ooh. Wow. I know, that's what I said when I found that out. The National Basketball Players Association has filed a grievance on behalf of Memphis's Matt Barnes. Barnes was suspended due to altercation with his ex-wife and Derek Fisher.
I can't get enough of the story, by the way.
I really can't either. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Grizzlies and the Knicks will be playing like this week, I think. It's very, very soon.
I sort of feel like an out-of-bounds play, just like sort of going off of Derek Fisher's head right now.
Well, the funny thing
hoping
is,
that happens.
the concern is the altercations outside of the court. Like, that they happen to run into each other in the city or whatever.
Well, New York's a small city with only one club, so it probably won't happen.
That's my whole thing. I'm like, really?
Maybe he'll go to the same one that Clay Anthony Early went to.
Oh, but you know what? I don't even know where they're playing. I don't know if it's in Memphis or in New York City. I'm not
Well,
too
if it's
sure.
in Memphis, there is only one club, so that might actually happen.
There you go. Is it BB King's Club?
It's House of Blues.
There you go.
Jerry the King Lawler is the DJ.
Thank you for that, Clay. Carmelo Anthony did suffer a sprained right ankle. He did have x-rays, and they were negative. The Cavs traded Joe Harris to Orlando. The Cavs got a draft pick in return for him, and Orlando has already waived Joe Harris, so poor guy's already done.
Hey, welcome here. Get
Welcome to Orlando. Goodbye.
Get out.
It'll be like playing Reno.
The Lakers plan to offer Raptor star DeMar DeRozan a max deal this summer. So I find that very, very interesting because with Kobe retiring, I assume the Lakers will go after every single big name NBA free agent. So of course it's all going to start with Kevin Durant.
Right.
Once he decides what he wants to do, then everything else will fall. But I do find it really funny that DeMar DeRozan is a person that they're going for. I'm kind of surprised by that. What do you think, buddy?
DeRozan's he's sort of like a mid-range guy. I mean, he can light it up like a lot of them, but he's really undersized for his position. He can take off like no other, and he's a decent shooter, but he's a horrible.
Would you say like a
defender.
B+ player?
Yeah,
Getting
that's what I
A+
would say.
money?
Yeah, that's what I'm
doesn't
saying.
make sense.
Well, you see, that's my thing. Is like I don't think he's a max player. Like that's
Exactly.
I would
my
agree.
whole thing.
Well, see, I would have said the same thing about John Wall, but since he signed his contract,
John Wall's freaking amazing, though.
he is so fast.
He's insane.
He's
for his
the
size,
fastest
he's
guy.
insanely fast.
Yeah.
There's a guy from New Orleans that's super quick too, but he is the fastest guy in the NBA with the ball, I think.
It's so frustrating watching Parker play against
Yeah,
him.
when it's Bill and Wall, nope. Yeah, I'm out. Anyways, let's see. What else? Warriors season ticket priority wait list, which costs $100 non-refund to join, now exceeds over 20,000, which of course is way more seats than Oracle Arena. So that's absolutely nuts. 20,000 people are on a wait list. And what I'm assuming is that this is very similar to the Spurs wait list. So they're already season ticket holders. So these 20,000 people waiting in line are hoping that some of those people don't renew their tickets.
Oh, well, they're going to die or something like that, or what?
I'm like, you just gave $100 for no reason,
Paperwork.
basically.
Pay-
Do you think that'll force them to maybe move out of Oracle?
Well, remember, they're going to be building their brand new arena in San Francisco along the bay. I forget what it is, a Pier 13 or something like that. Anyways, they were supposed to actually open up the arena. The plan was for 2017, late 2017, I think. Well, today, because there's all these like legal issues, people are suing, yada, yada. You know, it's California. There's a lawsuit every 5 seconds. Because of that, the Warriors actually announced they're pushing the arena to open back to 2019.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm starting to think, like, is that thing actually ever going to happen?
Well, it has to. I mean, they whenever you win a championship, most teams are eligible to get a new stadium if it hasn't had a new stadium, in the last 10, 15 years?
Yeah, man, that's
Here's the problem, though.
Oracle's old.
Oracle's the oldest one in the
your
NBA,
NBA, right? But here's the thing, though, especially with San Francisco, Oakland, whatever. There is no land.
No, and
There's no land. That's why this whole Raiders thing is like, you're starting to hear more about SA. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that's why it's because there's no land. Most people own the land. So the Warriors have actually purchased land on this pier to build this brand new arena. But the question is lawsuits are starting because of that land, because of how the land was acquired, yada, yada, So that's my whole thing there is, will it actually happen? Because my whole thing is like, if you start pushing back your date, your team needs this, you have the money, you have the land. Lawsuits are starting already. If you're pushing that date back, something just kind of doesn't sound right to me.
Well, I mean, we all know lawsuits take forever too. I mean, and I agree with Sean here, right? I mean, they've won a championship already, right? I can envision them seeing another championship in the next 3 years, at least, right? So how are you going to justify your team not getting a new arena already at that point when you're playing in the oldest arena in the league at this point, right? So I don't understand how they're going to be able to justify that. And
Yeah,
then
I don't know.
They can even threaten to move, really, when you think about it. They could pull a Seattle Sonics, you never know, and just try to move.
I don't think the Warriors are going to go anywhere. I really don't think they have a lot of support. There's a lot of money there.
They won't move.
But
they
I'm just
won't
saying
move,
that,
but-
in other words, there is the precedence to make them move.
Very true. I mean, and also if you look down the road,
Yeah.
the Kings are getting a brand new, amazing arena in downtown Sacramento. So if they're going to get them, and they have, they've just not been a great team.
Yeah.
If they're going to get a new arena, I think the Warriors deserve a brand new arena. But that's just me. Anyways, Quincy Pondexter is undergoing season-ending knee surgery. So if you remember, he was with Memphis, got traded back to New Orleans. Poor guy didn't even get to play play this year with New Orleans. Knee's all jacked up. He's going to go into surgery. He ain't coming back. So, of course, this past week we heard that the Nets decided to reorganize their organization. GM Billy King was put in a kind of advisory role, I should say, and they fired Coach Lionel Hollins. Most people within that organization learned about the firings via a press release. So that right there is just a sign that something's wrong with your organization, that your players and most of the people that work for you found out about this stuff via a press release. That's just really messed up.
The Nets are a mess.
They really are.
They are super duper mess.
So here's the interesting thing. So the Nets are actually looking at both Brian Colangelo and Danny Ferry for their open GM job. Now, I kind of mentioned to you, buddy, right at the beginning. I was like, they're going to go for Danny Ferry. I just knew that they would start looking at Danny Ferry. But the Colangelo thing, I'm kind of like, that's kind of interesting. Now, of course, this isn't Jerry, the one that everybody knows, who is now running the 76ers. Right. But, I mean, still, Colangelo, be interesting to see what happens there. And then former Chicago coach Tom Thibodeau is a contender for their head coaching position.
Wouldn't he just be a contender regardless? I mean, he's actually one of the better coaches out there.
I like him. I like him. I think Tibbs is a great coach. And that's the thing is that first the rumors started. What was that?
I think it was Apple telling us they like Thibodeau too.
I guess so. Wow.
It's a new sponsor.
So when Hollins was let go, Thibodeau's name did come up right away, but now his name is actually coming up as legit, like interviews and stuff like that. So we'll actually see what happens there. And of course, one of the names that came up on that list was John Calipari. Everyone was saying like maybe he would go and coach the Nets.
God,
of course,
he was a disaster with them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And Calipari came back and said, "Okay, I'll return, but my asking price is a 10-year deal worth $120 million."
You're
I'm like, get out of here.
And you know what's crazy is that the guy has the money to be able to do it. I mean, and if he's stupid enough to do it, he will do it. But I mean, because that guy, what is he? Some kind of like oil Mongol or something like that, right?
In Russia,
Mogul, not Mongol.
Oh, sorry, it's the wrong one.
It's near Russia.
Mongo's
but
a
the Mongols are
Superman
something
villain.
else. They make really good rice, though.
Very nice. Anyways, that's it for the news. We got a great show. We got a new Spurs in the City with Clay. We're glad to have Clay here. And, of course, a brand new You Don't Know Jack. We will be back in a bit. And we're back, and it's time to talk Spurs. Clay, Buddy, Jack are with me on the mics. Gentlemen, I think we should just start talking about the game from last night.
I think there was only one game.
I think there was really one game that mattered, and it was the Cavs game. And, man, was that a tale of two halves? Or I don't even know how to describe that game, because I know that when that first quarter started, it started exactly how you and I had been saying for the longest time it was going to start, buddy. They were going to come out cold. Defense was going to be slow. The big thing I was surprised with, though, is when our second team came in, they didn't provide that spark.
Right.
And so that's when I was like, okay.
I was starting to get worried that.
I really was, and I know that Frank makes fun of us and says that we're always on edge anytime the Spurs start off slow, or they just not start picking up really quick. But with that game, when the second team came in and there was no spark and Cleveland was just doing whatever the hell they wanted, I was like, okay, this could be trouble.
So here was my thought, though, and this is why I didn't say anything other than the fact that lovely start, right?
Right.
The only thing that I was like noticing right off the bat, right, was that the Cavs had started shooting like at 53% for the start of the game.
They couldn't freaking miss. They were on fire,
and it seemed like they didn't miss anything at all, right? And I was thinking to myself, this is not going to last, because I know the Cavs shoot like shit. I mean, I already know this, right?
Right.
So they're going to cool off. I already knew this, right? What I was more concerned about was the fact that, like, for instance, Green wasn't playing defense great out there when he was out there. And then that showed itself in the second half when he took him out really early in the third quarter and put Simmons in there. And then they went on the crazy run. And then I started thinking to myself, oh, my God. Simmons starting with the 4.
Oh, yeah. Because
I was like...
Because I was already saying, like, when they took Simmons out and brought Danny Green back in, I think it was me and you, Frank, we were both like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you putting him back in? Don't do that.
Don't put that fool back in there. What is wrong with you? I don't care what you're paying him. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it seemed like Simmons came in and he just, like, provided that spark. And I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? What the hell are we doing? Why don't we start this guy? He's not as great a shooter as Danny Green, but he can dribble the ball. He can actually dribble. And I saw 2 plays in particular. One that just drove me crazy. It's like, almost tore my hair out. So they were passing the ball around, and they were like really tight on defense at one point or another. The Cavs were tight on defense on Spurs. So it comes to Green a point, and he was on the outside of the 3-point line. His defender lags off, right? And he's like, sure, come on in. Just come on in. He proceeds to, sure, I'll come on in. He dribbles in there, and he dribbles off his foot, and they turn it over. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God. It's like, there was nobody even around you. Nobody even tried to grab the ball from you.
Yeah, but if you notice, Pop did sit him down for a long period of time.
Yes.
But I was kind of like, why are you taking Simmons out? But I mean, Pop knows what he's doing. I mean, I have no.
Obviously, we saw that last night.
We did totally see that. What else? I kind of want to talk a lot about the first quarter because I think the first quarter really showed a lot of problems for the Spurs. Clay, how much did you see?
I saw quite a bit. I mean, I was sitting in Hall of Fame at the rodeo, but
right.
I was able to watch it on my phone.
That Fox Sports Go app is amazing,
Yes.
is it not?
The problem is, though, I was in the front row of this induction, so it was really hard to peek away.
Bring headphones, brother.
I know. They don't fit on our cowboy hat.
Okay,
Anyway,
so what did you see, Clay? The game. What did you see in that game with the Spurs?
the biggest thing I saw was, and I've listened to episode after episode of this podcast, they got the slow start like you've called, and I'm with you all. I started jumping. When we were down 15, oh my God, there's no way you can get back in the starting blocks. Offense was terrible. It was slow. The Cavs were getting everything they wanted. There was no way to stop it. However, I didn't have the gut feeling they were gonna go down with the ship. I thought they'd make a run. I didn't think they'd make that kind of a run.
Right.
But I really wish that the Spurs would stop playing the tortoise and the hare thing every week because my heart can't take this anymore.
No, I'm starting to like my heart is like just going crazy, and I'm getting used to the bad starts. At this point,
I really am too because we know that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to start off 1 for 8.
I can send him 2 words, and he already I know, and it's gone to the I know. Let's just wait, and then sure enough, it come back, and this is actually a good thing because back in the day we used to be horrible at the end of games, like we would just totally blow the end of games, and now we seem to be more solid at the end of games, which is completely silly the way that works. But the thing is that what bothers me is that I really felt that we could come back against the Cavs. I felt that if we were down more than 25, we were done. But if we were down 15, I said, I still felt confident because we're still in the second quarter. We were all right? But the thing is that they're about one of the only elite teams that I feel that way about, right? So we'll bring back, and we always goes back to the same subject about the Warriors, for instance, right? If we get 15 down against the Warriors, for instance, sweet Jesus, I don't think we come back against 15 against them.
A comeback's not happening, Oracle.
Because they don't shoot badly.
Yes.
Like they're the best shooting team in the league by far. They're the best three-point shooting league. Probably not by far, but they're still pretty good overall.
Right.
So what do you do when you can't stop their shooters consistently and even like bring them down to earth a little bit, and we're not really picking up the pace? All you're doing is just keeping like this whole little momentum thing going on. It's like
Right.
And
here's another thing I'll throw in there too is that I don't feel we match up well with the Warriors, and I think that's the bigger concern because you could put Kawhi Leonard on Steph Curry if you wanted to, but he's smaller, he's faster. I think he needs to be more on a Klay Thompson, Draymond Green than he does on Curry. But if you leave Curry with Parker or Green, he's just going to light them up. And we're going to see that happen. When the Spurs play the Warriors, whether it's Thompson, Green, or Curry, one of the three is going to light the Spurs up. It's going to happen. But our only chance of winning the game is if we can let one go off, do whatever he's going to do, score his 30 whatever plus points, but they need to be able to control the other two.
For instance, how we let Barnes kill us last year, and
Exactly.
the games that we lost, Barnes would go off and just absolutely murder.
Exactly.
And which you can't have somebody like that happen.
You
Or
can't.
Iguodala, you can't have him score 25, for instance.
Right.
I mean, even though he's capable of doing those things,
You can't let him do it.
And like the game that we beat them last year, which I was completely shocked that we beat them that one game, where we beat them at their own home court. We were like only one of 2 teams last year that
beat them there,
on,
yes.
on their own home court, and I still think we can do that now. We basically bottled the rest of them, and we let Curry kill us. I think he had 40 in that game, I think.
It wouldn't surprise me.
He had 40 in that game, but we bottled up Thompson. Thompson just had a horrible game. And we bottled up, I think we bottled up Iguodala pretty well in that game as well. And so what the thing is that I think go back to that thing is like we don't need to go into that whole trap of letting them play or we let ourselves play their game.
Right.
We let them play our game.
Yeah.
Our game is to grind it down. Let Aldridge, let Duncan wear the middle down. Because, okay, they may be able to take Duncan out of the game, okay? But they can't take both Aldridge and Duncan out of the game at the same time. Bogut can't cover two people at one time.
No.
I don't care how good Green is, and I don't care how defensively sound he is. When he has Aldridge in there, Aldridge is going to back him down, and he's going to just.
And that's the thing too, is that Aldridge has to hit his shots. If it's one of those crappy games where he doesn't make any of his shots,
Like yesterday.
Yeah, like yesterday, the Spurs will be in trouble. I'm saying it now. If he starts off shooting very horribly against the Warriors, we're in trouble.
Why is Aldridge using his size more down in the low block? Have you noticed that? He's not getting in there, and he's taking a lot of jump shots. He's taking a lot of. He's not.
But that's his game. The mid-range
he's
jumper
more
is his
dominant.
game.
He gets into these things where he gets in a mode where like he's like, okay, well look, I'm gonna start shooting a lot of mid-range jumpers, and he gets into this like habit where he'll just stay in the outside for the whole game. Other games he'll be really engaged in the interior. I cannot remember the last game we saw this, and we talked a little bit about this. I want to say it was either the Milwaukee game or the.
I think it was the Milwaukee game, if I'm not mistaken.
He was completely engaged in the interior and not being on the mid-range shooter. So I think he's sort of tosses himself around upon where he fits into the system and what he wants to really do with himself at times.
Right.
And I don't think he really knows, like, okay, well, should I do this or should I do this? He's really unsure of himself at that time. And I think that's what he needs to get. I think he needs to get more confidence in what he can do, because he can dominate people. I mean, we've seen
we've seen him completely take over.
He just straight up dominates people. But the thing is that he gets into this weird thing where he's like, I don't know if I should do this, or I don't know if I should do this. Screw it, I'm going to shoot the mid-range shoot because I know I can do that. But then he gets into what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, because he was completely outplayed by Tristan Thompson, which is like really like. I was kind of upset with that, but whatever. Spurs pulled it together. Their defense was amazing the last three quarters.
Tale of two halves, like you said.
Yeah, it really was. They completely shut down everybody. Kawhi was amazing again on LeBron. The defense was just on point. And this is one point I do want to make. If the Spurs would have made their shots, Manu said it himself at post-game interview, we weren't hitting our shots at all. If the Spurs hit their shots, we easily have more than a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. We could easily have gone up like 15 points whatsoever. And here's my thing that I was expecting. Once we went up by 10, because the Cavs have done it before, where they've been down 14, 15, and with a 3-minute span,
yes,
they've come right back.
They blow up.
And that's exactly what they started doing. And it really was much more us not hitting our shots as opposed to them making their shots.
And I think this was one of the biggest differences in the fourth quarter, for instance, right? At one point or another, toward the end of the fourth quarter, we were up 10, and they cut it down to like 6, and I started worrying, and I was like, but then they started trading baskets. It got into the point where the Spurs were making the shots as opposed to being the guys who always missed the shots at that time, that critical juncture, and they let them come back. They were making their threes, or they would make their 2, whatever, but the Spurs come back, hit a timely 3. Spurs come back, hit a real quick layup or something like that. And so they could never get that momentum going to stop us at that point. And I think that says a little bit about the Cavs' defense, too. Their defense isn't fantastic, to be honest with you. I mean, they don't have the size in there.
Well, here's the thing, too. I don't know if you noticed this, but I think last night the Spurs realized we can attack Kevin Love. We can go right at him and get whatever we want.
And Duncan did anything he wanted to Love last night.
Exactly.
And they realized, they're like, hey, wait a minute. Love
Well,
can't
we
do
can just
anything.
do whatever we want to him.
And Parker blew him by him a couple times.
Yeah.
I was like, really? I was like, I was surprised about that.
I thought he was a better defensive player, and maybe it was just against the Spurs, because I kind of felt like Kevin Love looked startled a little bit. Like when they would put the camera on him, he just kind of looked like, what the hell is going on? Where am I going? What do I do? Especially when they started going straight at him. But I just thought that was really funny, because I didn't think that he was that type of player.
You know what's really strange about this, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, right? And this is about the Cavs. It's really strange how I find that Kevin Love doesn't seem like he fits in at all.
I agree with you.
He doesn't seem like either A, he doesn't want to be engaged, or B, they don't seem really all that interested in making him engage. And if he happens to be open, if they happen to throw him the ball and he just happens to get the ball at the right time, he'll shoot the shot. And
I agree so much with you.
It's just really weird. Like,
it
you don't
is.
see him. Irving and James are constantly engaged in offense. And Irving is always looking for that jump shot. You just can see it in his face. He just wants that jump shot.
Right.
But Love is just like, he's just wondering, just throw me the ball whenever you want.
Which is a complete shift in the way that the Cavs were playing when the season started. The entire offense went through Kevin Love. And I think it actually has to do with Kyrie Irving coming back.
Yeah.
They've completely changed their offense, and I think that may be their Achilles heel, is trying to, they've played so many games focusing on Love, and now they're changing it to kind of focus on Kyrie Irving. But yeah, I agree 100% with you. If you notice, it really does feel like our first option is Kyrie or LeBron. And then, oh, hey, we got Kevin Love, and he's open. Let's throw the ball to him.
Oh, that guy can make
that guy,
three-pointers.
that guy might be able to actually do something for us.
Did
I don't
you
know.
feel the same way when with Bosch? When it was LeBron and Dwayne Wade?
Yeah,
Bosh?
Yes.
That's actually a very
So,
good
I don't know.
comparison.
Good
Yes.
point, Jack.
It could be that too.
He would disappear, and that's what it is. He disappears. What it is, he'd be there, but he'd disappear. And then when he became a defensive liability, he even disappeared even more. And that was the thing that was really shocking about all of that. And you start to see what some of the problems are with the Cavs, right? Some of the problems with the Cavs is like they have no interior defense whatsoever. Like
No.
their interior defense outside of Mozgov is just non-existent.
And I don't even think Mozgov is that
And
great
he's not,
either.
And he's not.
And Verjao didn't play either.
No, he hasn't played in.
In fact, I was watching the game right before I came over here, and they said he is the first time he'd played in like 4 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, like for some reason, Blatt has like this strange rotation with his players, and he only like plays about like 8 players, I think.
Yeah,
it is.
he doesn't even rotate that many.
You know, and he actually says like, you know, they have to earn their spot back into the rotation. I'm like, dude, you have
That
a
guy-
pretty good bench. I'm not going to say it's a great bench, but you do have a pretty good bench.
You never know it.
Yeah, well,
And
why
he's
aren't you playing
killing,
anybody
and
else?
he's killing his starters. I mean, you know, if you think about the people who are really injury prone, people like Irving, people like Smith, people like Shumpert, they're injury prone. You
Yeah.
know?
Played
And you're-
over 32 minutes.
Exactly, and you're paying them a whole hell of a lot of minutes. They're bound to get hurt, and once they get somebody hurt again, they're going to run into the same problem they ran into the playoffs last
And I don't know
year.
about you guys, but every time I see J.R. Smith or Schubert, I
Shumpert.
just want to punch him in the back of the head. I can't stand either one of them.
I
I
elbow
can't-
to the
don't
back of the head.
know. I don't know
Right
what.
to the
Not even
cerebrum.
an elbow. I just want to donkey punch him, just straight from the back. Just straight. Yeah, just
Shumpert is
boom.
that kid and play hair dude. That's the guy over here on a
Oh, I
punch.
can't. And then, it was driving me nuts when Smith would get open and hit a 3. I was, and I think
I
you know,
know, he was
the,
killing me.
I-
He
the,
was
the funny
killing
thing
me.
is, I think he only hit like 2 3-pointers. I don't even think
they
he hit
hurt.
that
No,
many.
he hit more
but
than that,
but
right?
when he hit those, I was. Well, I think he had like 15
No,
points,
because
so
they
maybe
hit
he
him
hit
in
more.
such weird angle. Like he has the only way he makes threes is if he's like on the weirdest angle or in the weirdest like position. That's the only way he makes threes. He can't make them wide open for some weird reason.
Yeah,
He's
I
like,
don't know.
It's really strange about that.
You know,
guy.
last
Anyways.
night was a good reason why the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast needs season tickets because I was out in the cold watching the fourth quarter in the AT&T Center courtyard trying to film a Spurs in the city. So we need tickets to get in that.
Frank, your
arena.
producer, get on that.
Sponsor,
Anyways,
Sponsor.
we've been talking a lot about the Cavs. Let's kind of talk about the Spurs for a little bit before we're done with this segment. So we got to bring up David West. If it wasn't for David West, we probably would have lost that game.
Pretty much.
You know, that's really how I feel about that. Ginobili was really good off the bench. Didn't see much from Diaw. Didn't see much from Patty Mills.
No.
Simmons, I think, had a basket. We didn't see Boban. We didn't see Rasul Butler. Those two were also active, but they didn't play at all. I was really hoping that when Mozgov came in, they were going to put Boban in. I just wanted to see that.
Too.
But I understand why you wouldn't just throw him in there right away because I assume LeBron and Irving would just go right at him, you know, and I don't know how Boban would react to that. He's not used to that sort of athleticism. You know,
I think he'd just probably elbow him in the face and be done with it.
Yeah.
Anytime
Boban smash.
Anytime Boban enters a game, I feel like it's Godzilla attacking a city. Everyone's running for their lives. I feel bad for Tokyo every time I see Boban.
It is sort of crazy watching him because I always laugh at the meme that he made about the guy. I think I've made a horrible mistake.
Oh, yeah.
I always think about that every time I see somebody defending. They're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, David West was just amazing. I really there was a great article that Wojo from Yahoo wrote about David West and about him giving up, $11 million to come here with the Spurs. But he talks about what it is to come to San Antonio and actually be part of this team, to learn everything, and how, Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili are really like coaches. They're not just teammates. And it isn't about any other team. It's about the Spurs and what they do and how they do things and what their weaknesses are and everything. And his performance really shows that now that he has gotten accustomed to being a Spur. He is a Spur now, and you see that. There, I think it was the other night, he didn't even play. He didn't even come off the bench. Next night he comes in, scores like 13, 15 points, if I'm not mistaken, and that's what a Spur does. You don't complain that you don't get playing time. You're usually part of the second string, but if Pop decides you're not going to play, you're not going to come back and be pissed off that you didn't get to play one game. But, I mean, like I said, if it wasn't for David West, we probably would have lost that game yesterday, especially with all of Aldridge's problems.
Yeah.
His shooting was horrible.
One of the things about the Spurs that I've noticed out of him, and you notice this, and you guys can all attest to this, right? Being in business and whatever things that you guys in your jobs, right? The things that the Spurs do excellent, more than most other teams that you'll see out there professionally. We're not even just talking like NBA. We're talking NFL or anything like that. Is that they're able to hold themselves accountable, right? So they say that one of the biggest things is like, the way to be successful is to be able to hold people accountable to the things that you wanted to put them in front of them, right? So if Parker screws up, then Duncan goes over there and says, hey, look, you screwed this up. And he's like, okay, cool, I screwed that up, right? But the same thing happens the other way around. If Duncan screws something up, then Parker goes over there and you look at him like, you big dummy, what did you do? You know what I mean? And that's what the part of their team that makes them so like, a good cohesion. That's why they've been able to stay together, because they both want the same, they all want the same things. Ultimately, they want the championship. They want to be able to be as a team, as a family together as well. And West, all he wanted is just that championship in reality.
Right.
But then he gets here and he's like, hey, you know what? They have that same desire to win, that same like attitude to be able to be together as one cohesive unit and held each other accountable. All of us can do that together. And we don't have a problem with any of that. And you see all of that with all of the bad teams in the NBA right now. That's the big lacking part of
Very
one of
good
these
point.
teams. You look at, like, for instance, the Sixers, right? Can anybody here tell me who exactly is the leader on that team?
The guy that's there now, Ish Smith, is
Right, and that's the guy who got cut.
I was just going to say,
hey,
he's also the guy that just got there. But you see it, because like the last night, Sixers, Bulls, Sixers go up 26 on the Bulls. Jimmy Butler, who we've been saying for the longest time needs to be the focal point of that entire franchise,
Exactly.
scores over 50 points, brings them back, and they beat Philly in Philly. But Ish Smith was the guy dueling with Jimmy Butler back and forth, hitting threes back and forth. But he couldn't do it by himself.
Right. The rest of them are just all
Right.
It's not that they're losers per se. It's just that they don't.
No,
know
they are.
Well,
They
yeah.
are.
Well,
They
they're
are.
losers. Okay. But it's not that so much. I mean, they're losers. But what I'm saying is that they don't know how to work together as a team at all. I mean, they just have no concept of that. And I think that has a lot to do with Brett Brown. But I'm not going to get into that because he's a Spur guy. But the thing is that, you have to get these guys to believe that they can win as one unit. The thing is, and a lot of them don't. They think that they can do it all by themselves. This is why ultimately everybody's like freaking out about the Kings, about how well that they're doing so far. Ultimately, they're gonna fall like a deck of cards because of the fact that Cousins and Rondo do not know how to win as a team. Rondo, they're saying all great things about him. That guy is he's a jerk.
Well,
we already know this.
And well, not just that, but Rondo doesn't even want to be in Sacramento. That's why he signed a one-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's hoping to get a bigger deal somewhere else. So he's just basically trying to show his value right now. Anyways, Buddy and I keep yakking. Jack,
a big fist in my
what
face,
are
brother.
the interesting stats from last night?
Stats of the night, all 5 starters for the Cavs scored in double figures. LeBron led them with 22. He went 9 for 17, but he only shot 4 free throws. That was something really good the Spurs did.
And on that point, too, Kawhi only had 1 foul on LeBron.
Yeah.
Which is just, you think of guarding LeBron and really only 1 foul. That's
He
nuts.
controlled those mitts of his last night.
Tony, player of the game, 24, went 11 for 18. Didn't hit a 3, but had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. Spurs overall caused 18 turnovers. No,
I think they turned it
13.
over like at least 15 times.
But I think the Spurs beat.
Yeah, Cavs had 18 turnovers. Spurs only had 11.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pretty good. Good stuff.
Nice.
Good win.
Do you have points in the paint? I was very curious about that. I wanted
Points
to see
in the
what.
paint was Spurs had 48 points in the paint. Cavs had 40.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
So
anyway,
in the fourth quarter, last out of the game, where'd it go? In the fourth quarter, Cleveland went 9 for 23, which is like 39%. Spurs shot 58%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the
Fourth.
third. It was the end of the third and the beginning of the fourth.
yeah, they just woke up
they
and just
killed them.
started taking them off. But it was like, I'll give props to Frank, because Frank was the one that said right away, Cleveland's gonna get cold. They're gonna go cold, and that's exactly what happened.
And the Spurs force awakened.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Anyways, that's it for Spurs talk. We got a game on Sunday. The Mavs come to town, so that should be fun. And off the top of my head, I don't know what else is coming up this week, but if we're getting very close to that January 25th date where the Spurs go to Oracle and play the Golden State Warriors. We will be back in a bit.
Hi Hi, this is DJ Quake, the official DJ for the San Antonio Spurs, and you're listening to Go Spurs Go Memes.
And we're back, and that music means that it's time for a brand new Spurs in the City segment. First time in studio, Clay, correspondent Clay is with us. Clay, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Why do you keep having me do these things?
All I know is I think this is the greatest idea that I've ever had, is to have you go out here and talk to Spurs fans, because all these Spurs in the City segments that you've been doing have been just freaking hilarious. Now, I have to say, last week's, I had heard your idea. You said you wanted to do this. You wanted to open up a phone book and start calling people looking for Joey Crawford. And I was just like, he's going to do what? And I think Jack was the one that told me, like, this is what Clay's going to do. And I was like, no freaking way. And I was so giddy because I was like, I know that you're going to do it. And I know it's going to come out really well. I was not prepared for what you actually got us, because
Neither was I.
It was freaking hilarious. And I think you gave us like 10 minutes worth of phone calls.
And that's because I stopped calling. I had more numbers.
Oh God, I even had my wife listen to it, and she was cooking, and she had her ear set in, and she was cooking, and I would just hear her like bust out laughing, and her whole thing is like, why are they talking to him?
I don't know. I do not know.
Like, why didn't they just hang up? But they totally had conversations
I should go
with
into
you.
sales. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have an ability. It was great. The Joey Crawford thing was fantastic. I thank everyone who answered their phone, even some of you that I couldn't understand. I appreciate you answering your phone. And folks, listen to this episode. If you didn't listen to last week's, you probably should.
Well, that's the thing I wanted to bring up too, is that I got so much feedback from people saying how freaking hilarious it was. And I actually think because of that segment last week, more people actually started going back and listening to our older stuff. And I just realized when you sent this week's that you've done 9 of these already. I can't believe that's been 9 already.
9
yeah, that's what I
weeks,
said. 9. He's done it for 9 weeks already. But yeah, man, this is great. So we got a brand new Spurs in the City segment. So you want to set that up real quick?
Yeah, so, I just happened to be at the AT&T Center, and LeBron James was in town, and I thought, why don't I just walk over to the front of the AT&T Center and catch people on the way out? Let me give you a little backstory, though. I tried to get into the AT&T. I didn't tell you this.
No, you didn't.
I tried to get in to watch the last part of the quarter, and I lied to the guy at the AT&T Center, and I said my wife was inside with our child. I had to run to the car to get the diaper. I had no diaper to show him, and he said, well, call your wife, tell her to come out here. You can change him outside. He was AT&T security, if you're listening. Fantastic job.
Oh, and that's another thing that I thought was freaking hilarious, is that when you were calling people, and they were like, "Who's this?" and you're like, "Hi, this is Clay from Go Spurs Go Memes."
Yeah, like that's the thing. Jack actually mentioned earlier that I need to get a T-shirt or something. So
yes, we really do need
so people stop being so afraid of me. People of San Antonio, I don't want money. I promise. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this for the laughs that I get in the studio.
It's true, because you are getting a ton of laughs. Okay, so
anyway, so yes, I'm in front of the AT&T Center. The Cavaliers lose. I thought either way, Spurs lose, terrible, first home loss. Spurs win, fantastic. LeBron James goes home crying. Either way, the people are going to leave the AT&T Center emotional.
Right.
And I got a few people to stop. A lot of people were kind of terrified of me, and for the first time, and a lot of people.
I'm really surprised that people were really terrified.
They want to get to their cars and get home, but make sure you all really listen hard for the last bit of this, because you're going to hear some members of our Yellow Cab friends get involved in this Spurs in the City. So enjoy the reactions from Spurs fans.
Nice. Okay, so this is Spurs in the City number 9 from Clay. Clay, again, I'm glad that you're here in studio with us. Hope you're going to be with us in the studio much more often. But here you go, guys. Spurs in the City number 9.
Hey guys, this is Clay with the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. I'm your correspondent in the street with Spurs in the City. Now listen, the San Antonio Spurs, well, why am I telling you? I've got some fans here. Tell me what happened inside the AT&T Center. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, we're beat.
Your throat sounds a little sore.
Yes, it is.
Are you happy? Are you happy with your Spurs?
Oh,
yes.
Thrilled.
Yes.
Second half comeback.
I mean, I'm watching the game and I'm a little nervous.
Yes.
Who do you think was the standout player today?
Ooh, Parker, maybe.
Parker and Kawhi, of course. But Manu always turns it on, you know.
And Timmy made that point toward the end that really kind of sealed things.
Now, of course,
Timmy's the lead.
Of course, LeBron is probably in the locker room cramping up and hurting right now.
Yes.
What would you, if you could say one thing to LeBron James about his loss tonight at the AT&T Center, what would it be?
Just remember the playoffs when you lost.
What about you? What would you say? All right, thanks, guys. Hey, give me a Go Spurs Go.
All right,
Go, Spurs, go!
Good job.
Beat it with me.
Okay, I found two more Spurs fans. One's wearing a Duncan jersey. One's wearing a Parker jersey. Just tell me what your name is.
I'm Caitlin and Paige.
Hey, do you come to a lot of games, Caitlin and Paige?
Yes, I have season tickets.
You have season tickets. Okay, so you saw this, a big game, right?
Yeah.
LeBron James of the Cavaliers. Are you excited the Spurs won?
Yes, it was a tough fight at first. I was hoping they'd get it, but
I'm more excited that the Cavs lost.
Yeah, who isn't? I mean, and speaking of the Cavs loss, LeBron James' Cavs are probably losing right now, too. They're probably cramping up, hurting. He's old. He can't feel it.
I honestly didn't know he was still on the team.
Where have you been?
No, like I was like watching the game and I was like, where is he? And then I saw his name on the thing and I was like, oh. I thought he retired. And I was older than that. I was like, you're done.
This girl bleeds silver and black, basically. Now listen, who do you think was the best player tonight for the Spurs?
Kawhi. He guarded LeBron all game.
He took LeBron.
He did.
Shut him down.
He got one personal foul all game.
So LeBron was Wall Street, and he was just shutting that thing down.
Yeah, he was done.
What about you? What do you think?
I mean, you always have to go with Kawhi. As Patty would say, Kawhi the hand. All the time.
And last thing, if you could tell LeBron James one thing, because he's probably feeling sad that he lost, what would it be?
Go home.
You can say whatever you want.
It's time to retire, dude. It's time to go home.
Have a nice flight home.
No love. Thanks, Spurs fans. All right, I have found a couple. Where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Texarkana, Texas.
I'm from San Antonio.
She's the better one. Okay, now listen. Listen, I see here wearing a LeBron James shirt, sir, and she's wearing a, who is that? A Kawhi Leonard shirt.
Right.
Obviously, one of you lost tonight, and one of you won. Ma'am, will you tell me who won tonight?
The Spurs!
And, sir, why do you have such bad judgment in choosing the Cavs?
We got the best player in the world.
You know, a player is only one man. The Spurs have about 15 of those best players in the world.
They do.
If you could talk to LeBron James, what would you say to him right now? Saying, "Hey, I feel bad for you, man." What are you gonna say?
I'll say let's see if they make it to the finals and meet us again. That's what I say.
Are you confident LeBron's gonna make it to the finals himself?
I'm confident he's gonna make it to the finals.
What do you think?
No.
No way?
No.
Hey, since you lost, I think it's only fair that you give me a Go Spurs Go, because they lost in the House of the Silver and Black.
I'll give you one.
Go for it.
Go Spurs, go.
And folks, for those of you listening, he's wearing all Cavs stuff. His shoes basically were pooped out by LeBron James himself.
They were. They were. Special edition.
Special edition, yeah. Pretty crappy deal. Hey, anyway, I'm just kidding. Hey, have a great night. See you guys. You can see there are a lot of people happy here at the San Antonio Spurs game. The Cavaliers were triumphantly defeated in the AT&T Center by the San Antonio Spurs. An amazing game. A lot of fans happy about the game ending here tonight at the AT&T Center. Of course, the Spurs had a slow start, but they picked it up. I got a lot of happy Spurs fans I'm looking at for the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. This is your correspondent on the street, Clay, signing off. Hey, guys, walking by, give me a goal, loud, Go Spurs, go! Even the taxi driver honked. He's still doing it. That's why you call the yellow cab. They're dedicated Spurs fans. Anyway, Clay signing off. Going back to the guys in studio. Gentlemen, what a game.
You Don't Know Jack, brought to you by Jack the Intern. So yes, last night was a great game between the Spurs and the Cavs, but also you had in Philadelphia, Jimmy Butler went for 53 points to beat the 76ers in overtime. Now that got me thinking, what's the highest point total for the Spurs this season? And I had to do a little bit of research. Back in October versus Oklahoma City, Kawhi Leonard went for 32. Parker also this past week on Tuesday had 31 versus Detroit in that win. But that's really the only time the Spurs have even gone over 30 points. Now, I looked kind of broad over across the league, and players have scored more than 32 points 125 times this season. It's actually been 43 different players have done it, with Steph Curry leading the charge. He's done it 13 times. Harden's done it 10 times. That's one every 3, one every 4 games. Really kind of crazy, and just another one of those stats that really shows how great the Spurs team is. Anybody can be the leading scorer, and no one really has to take control of the game and score 30, 40, 50 points for the Spurs to win. Now, going way back in the history, the Spurs have only scored over 50 points twice in the Duncan era. Parker had 55 in November of 2008. Duncan had 53 the day after Christmas in 2001. And if you didn't know, the Spurs' career high scorer was David Robinson, scored 71 points in April of 1994. Now, the other thing I like to do for you, Spurs fans, is kind of give you an update on what tickets are looking like. Got a couple deals. Of course, the Dallas game on Sunday is pretty expensive, but if you wait till the 27th, Houston's coming to town. Those tickets are $28 on StubHub. And then February 1st, you got Orlando at $9 tickets. On the 3rd, you got the Pelicans for $8 tickets. You can see the unibrow. And then, if you want to go see Kobe on the 6th, Laker tickets are starting at $137. Kind of crazy. Then you got the rodeo road trip, so you got a little bit of a break in home games. Go enjoy your rodeo, enjoy some music kind of stuff. But I got a couple steals of the week. You got to do a little bit of planning, but here you go. So Golden State is coming to San Antonio April 10th. Those tickets right now on StubHub are $90. You might say, holy crap, that's $90. But the January 25th tickets in Golden State are $180. In San Antonio, they come March 19th. Those tickets right now are $150. And then the last meeting in Golden State on April 7th are $129. April 10th, $90 for a Golden State ticket is a deal. The other deal I got for you, last home game of the season, Oklahoma City comes to town. Probably a 2 seed versus a 3 seed. April 12th. Right now, those tickets are only $48. That's pretty much it. Now you know it because Jack told you so.
And that song means it's time to talk football. The college football season is over. Congrats to the Alabama Crimson Tide. What a freaking game. They defeat the Clemson Tigers. Nick Saban is probably going to go down as the greatest college football coach in history. Without a doubt, Alabama Crimson Tide is a dynasty. Jack, final thoughts on the college football season?
Great. I was very glad to see that game be so good after the semifinals were so bad.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. A great game by both teams. I think the better team won. I think it was kind of interesting that last Clemson touchdown to pull them within 5 cost gamblers about $10 million.
That's crazy.
I read
since
about
they made that cover.
Yeah, they did.
And then Alabama also became the first team to beat 12 FBS teams with a winning record.
Awesome.
Wow.
Sean, final thoughts?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
that's really.
That was really cool. Final thoughts. Come on.
I mean, what are you going to say? We were all, we always message each other during big games, whether it be big football games or usually Spurs games. But I will quote this: when Alabama scored, I believe it was right at the end of the third quarter, I sent a text and I sent it to Jack. I go, yeah, I'm going to bed. Alabama's got this.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
And I went to bed and I woke up and I wanted to text you all back. I was like, hey guys, what happened? But I was like, yeah, they won't believe me. They know better. But no, Saban. What my favorite quote that I ever heard about Saban was one of his first offensive coordinators. It was way before Kiffin. It was right after he got there, right after Miami. He said what he does is he finds your team's 5 favorite offensive plays and their 5 favorite defensive schemes, and he exploits those weaknesses.
That makes sense.
And that's why no, it's hard to beat them. Except Ole Miss looks like they have a recipe to do it.
They have the kryptonite.
I'm really excited about that matchup next year.
Yeah, very true.
But no, great college season. Bowls weren't great overall. The championship was great. Thank you. That's all we can say.
And I would say that one thing that all of us kind of predicted that would be the championship game. It would be Alabama and Clemson, and we all said that Alabama would win. So it just kind of came through for us. We went straight with our picks. The only other thing that I want to say, at one point I want to make about Nick Saban. So every single team, every class that he recruited at Alabama,
I saw that stat
has
too.
won a national championship now. That is absolutely insane.
Why would you not want to go?
That's my whole thing is like, I don't think there's any reason for him to leave Alabama. He'll get any player he wants. He'll get anything he wants from that university. I know there's talk, maybe he'll go to the NFL, yada yada. But to me, I don't see him leaving Alabama for anything.
Unless his wife doesn't like it, which he uses as an excuse to rebargain. But he's not leaving.
Yeah, he's not leaving.
He's going to have a statue in front of that building. Within 5 years?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Totally. It's going to be on the other side of Bear Bryant.
Did anybody see that?
Jack,
picture?
what's the countdown? Hold on, buddy. What's the countdown to the college football season?
College football season 2016, August 27th, 2016 starts 223 days, 23 hours, 21 minutes, 52 seconds.
Do we have the teams?
Buddy,
It's
I know.
amazing how he does that on top of his head.
Buddy, I know you had something to say. What was it?
No, I was just saying. I was just laughing because did anybody see that picture that I put on our group thing about the defensive lineman standing next to the cheerleader and like how big that defensive lineman was? Did anybody see this? Oh,
when did you see?
They were just comparing because of the fact that like how massive the Alabama players are compared to like everybody else, and they're like, oh well, it's no coincidence.
What was the running back? Was it Mark Ingram that was in the locker room with them celebrating?
Yeah,
and
next
he
to
was
Derrick
next.
Henry.
Yes, and I mean he was just dwarfed in comparison to Henry. I mean it was insane.
Ingram's small though.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, you're very true about that. Okay,
It's like seeing the Spurs players live and close. How much taller they are than you are.
Yeah.
Like when you see him on TV, they're like, "Oh, that guy's pretty tall." But no, Tony Parker's 6 foot, 6'1". He's taller than 80% of San Antonio. And when you get closer, you're like, "Wow, these guys are actually tall."
Yeah,
like,
especially Boban. Like if you see Boban in person,
run
Godzilla. I mean, just run. He's freaking huge. It's something. Yeah, it's something. Anyways, on to the pros. We are right in the middle of NFL playoffs.
Yep.
Sean, what's going on?
Well, we had last week. We had our wild card matchups. We had the Chiefs and Texans. That's the closest one we had for Texas. I was so excited to watch this game. Chiefs first play. They run it all the way back from the kickoff. I switched the channel. And Frank sent me. He goes, "Can you believe this game?" I go, "I turned it off after 8 seconds." I was like, "Well, I'm going to get ready for the Knights matchup," and I did. I had zero want to watch it after that. It was just it was just a bad game. Steelers and Bengals, all sorts of controversy about the Bengals. They have players, but they aren't controllable. Marvin Lewis isn't a
complete meltdown.
Good I mean, he's a great tactician coach. He's just not an enforcer of rules or anything else. Would a Tom Coughlin in the system be better? I mean, he doesn't have to be head coach, but I know he wants to be. But if you imagine a Kaufman like, I guess, sturdiness and authority in there, Bengals maybe in the Super Bowl. Hard to say. But
good point, though.
Yeah, that's something to look at. Also, with the Kansas City Chiefs, RG3 is going to be on the market, and I think it would be nice if you pick him up. Just saying. I still have the Chiefs as a dark horse to pick up RG3 if he's not going to be a starter somewhere.
Why do the Chiefs want RG3?
Explain that to me because it's Alex Smith.
You have Alex Smith, which is the
who's the backup?
Good. There you go.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. You can't
point taken. I'm like, okay, point taken. Next point.
Well, you can't. And remember when we talked about this earlier in the season, possible landing spots for RG3, and I said the Kansas City Chiefs because one, Reed is the head coach. He worked with McNabb forever. He's good at understanding and handling big personalities. Two, it's in Kansas City. It's not a huge media market. And three, you have Alex Smith, who's not a stellar quarterback. He is, he's the litmus test of NFL quarterbacks. He'll get you right there. But does he have enough to get you over? No, I don't think so. Does he have enough to make your team tank? No, I don't think so either. He's a solid 6 to 10 win quarterback a year. I can see that.
They've only won 10 straight.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
they did.
That's something. But imagine having RG3 learning under that system. I mean,
What's your ultimate end game though with him then?
That's my whole. I have issues. I mean, Jack, you and I talk about this all the time. I have issues with RG3 and Manziel. I think they're both. I don't think they'll ever be great quality NFL quarterbacks. I don't really think it matters where you put them. I just see it as a waste of money to have them on your roster.
I don't see it as a waste of money for a potential talent versus, the second string across the league. And in fact, I mean, you look at 10 of the 30 starting quarterbacks, they're not great. I mean, you look at the bottom 10. I mean, who wants those guys? Hoyer for the Texans? Nobody wants Hoyer. We didn't want Hoyer. If Malik had set a damn alarm clock, we would have kept him. He didn't. Way to go, dummy. But anyways, that's my biggest concern. Malik has a better arm. He wasn't as accurate as Hoyer, but God, he had a way better arm.
Malik has always had the arm, though. I
cannon.
was really sad that he was out of there, but whatever.
But with Andy Reid with a McNabb is more similar to RG3 than he is to Alex Smith. Would you agree?
I do agree with that.
And I don't think it would be a hard way to design. I mean, he's designed for that player before.
I think you have a great point. Like, you have a valid point, and you've put the pieces together there. So, but my question is, it's not my question. I just do not feel that RG3 or Manziel can be good NFL quarterbacks. I just don't see that happening.
And I don't think you're really shooting for that, though. I mean, and he has a good point about this, about the whole, 10 quarterbacks, not being good in the league.
They're
You have
horrible.
to think about it. Every backup that I've seen, and mind you, I'm not the greatest football mind here,
Osweiler's the only one that's been somewhat good.
And it's somewhat good, mind you. Every backup I've seen so far this year has just been straight awful.
Yeah.
And they can't be that bad. They can come in as, you're right, they're not going to be starters. But
No.
they can come in and just be maybe a second guy if you want to rest a guy, if something happens. At least he's a good, viable option, because the other option is bringing in some loser let's name one.
Savage?
Randy? Macho Man?
Well, I was like, where's this guy?
No,
Snap it to a Slim Jim.
Oh, yeah. Bonesaw. No, so
I swear we suffer from ADHD.
we love it so much. No, but my whole thing is, I think RG3's best landing spot and actually have somewhat of a career. Because, I mean, the one thing I think I have to say, he's healed up by now.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing.
Is he staying healed? No.
You've pointed out everything. I think that you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if he's going to go somewhere, Kansas City probably is the best bet for him.
He won't go.
I know his name is coming around for Dallas, just like Manziel is, but both of them aren't going to come to Dallas, and I just don't think Dallas is a good situation for either one of them. Jack, what are your thoughts on that?
No, neither.
I think one's going to end up in Texas.
I think Manziel's done.
Done?
Really? Done?
Done.
He's going to be in a crack house somewhere?
There's always the Raiders.
Pretty much.
Saying.
Okay,
Anyways.
let's go back to playoffs.
So the other two games that we had the Seahawks and the Vikings. The Vikings missed a field goal at the very end. That's got to be the loneliest guy in the world. And as there's great Vanderjack stories, the great kicker for Indianapolis, and yada yada yada. Because he used to start stuff with real players, and that's what they said.
Is he the guy that would start crap, and when they'd come at him, he'd fall in front of a ref?
Vanderjack is known for that.
Listen.
Yeah, but I mean that's the guy. But kickers, evidently this kicker's well liked. He likes to tackle, yada yada yada, and he's a good player. The game I was totally surprised with was Redskins losing at home to Green Bay. I called that the Redskins were going to win their first game, 3 weeks ago? And when they were up 5-0 at the end of the first, Frank, I was going to text you. I was like, get my sound bit ready. Because I was like, hit the sound bit. And, but, God, Aaron effing Rodgers.
Yeah.
He just destroyed the game. I don't think he's going to do it from here on. I mean, your thoughts, what do you think, Ray, of the games last week?
The guy missing the kick in Minneapolis, it was just sad.
It was like the Texas cow kicker.
It was so freaking sad.
Did anybody hear what the coach said? So they asked the coach the one thing, his one sound blurb after the game, right? And he goes, he just got to make that kick. That's all he said.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, wow, let's just throw the whole game on that one guy, though.
But you got to feel bad for the Minnesota fans. I mean,
they're outside in 0 degrees.
Exactly. It wasn't even 0, man. I think it was I was going to say minus 15. That whole freaking game, Minnesota had it, and they just completely fell apart. kudos to the Seahawks. They took it. I mean,
could you
just
imagine
did.
a dad talking to his son? Hey, son, I know it's been hard all game, but we're going to get this kick and we're going to win it. Oh, God, now I got to talk to your mom about you getting pneumonia. Like, it was going to be horrible.
Yeah, they went back to St. Olaf all sad. Anyways.
St. Olaf. Oshkosh ain't going to be the same. Oh, it's Wisconsin.
It's Wisconsin.
All right,
Anyways,
so we got games this weekend. We got the Chiefs playing the Patriots. I personally have the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are the strongest AFC team.
Patriots.
All right. Jack.
Patriots.
All right. I'll be the only one with the Chiefs. That's fine. Cardinals.
Clay, wait, Clay. What do you, Clay? Get in here, Clay.
I'm getting in this early. Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. Baby.
You're out of your mind.
All right.
You're
I agree with Clay on that. Anyways, we got Packers and Cards.
Wait,
Frank.
Frank, what do you want?
I like the Chiefs too.
You want Chiefs? Oh, okay. So let's. So
We have it
we're
split.
split.
We're split.
Go Spurs, Go Memes podcast is split. Ray, Buddy, Jack are going with the Patriots and the amazing Tom Brady against the Chiefs.
Yes.
And that is
Native
Clay,
Americans.
Frank, and Sean's pick. The Chiefs.
With Alex
Chiefs
Smith.
With Alex Smith.
Good luck,
Okay.
boys.
Fair enough.
Next
Next game we have Packers at Cardinals. I pick Cardinals.
Cardinal.
Cardinals.
Anybody
Cardinals.
not picking Cardinals?
No.
Okay.
I actually, Cardinals
Super
are
Bowl.
my pick for NFC for the Super
same
Bowl.
thing.
yeah.
Oh, and when I said Chiefs, they're getting in the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to win. I actually picked the Cardinals to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
All right, just fair
I
enough.
can totally see that.
Okay, Seahawks, Panthers. I have Seahawks.
Ooh,
Panthers.
that's a hard one. I'm going to take Panthers on that one.
What do you got, Frank? All right,
Panthers?
so we got anybody
I'm
else
gonna
going
go on a
Seahawks.
limb and I'll say Seahawks.
Wow, we got another 3 and 3.
Okay,
we
so
got
3 and 3.
Buddy, Clay, and myself picking the Seahawks.
The rest
Ray,
of us.
Frank, and Jackson are going to be picking the Panthers. So we got the last game, Steelers at Broncos. I have Steelers.
No, I got Broncos on that one.
I'm kind of torn between that one because
Roethlisberger's hurt.
you know, you do have a good
I'll
point
be
there.
fair. No Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he's out.
No running back, whoever it is. And then
Steven
I don't know
Alec Williams.
if they're saying Roethlisberger. I don't think is
Well, he
confirmed
has a separated
either way.
shoulder, for God's
He's
sake.
got a torn
gonna
ligament that he admits to.
Right.
But and this is the whole reason I'm picking the Steelers. Peyton Manning on warm days can't feel his fingertips, and it's supposed to be cold, so his hand. I mean, I don't believe he's going to be anywhere near
Oh
as
yeah,
accurate
and then
as he's
Manning's
gonna be.
starting, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I do believe we'll see Osweiler. Or
Yes.
not Ostertag. Osweiler. Wow,
If we saw Greg, that'd be amazing.
0 from Utah. That's great.
Utah's not far from Denver.
I can drive. I'll meet you guys there.
I can drive.
But no, I'm picking Steelers.
I'm just going to go with the Broncos.
Okay, Clay.
Broncos.
Broncos.
I'm going to say Broncos. They go all the way to the AFC Championship. Overrated.
Oh, okay. I
Buddy?
agree with that.
Did you want?
I said Broncos all the way.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm the only one picking Steelers.
Steelers.
Fine with me. But guys, it's a good football weekend. I hope it's going to be better than last week's.
Hope so too.
But that's what we got. That's my football. Woo.
Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. That's football. We will be back in a bit. And now it's time for On the Fly. Today's topic, we'll be talking about if we won the Powerball, what would we do with all that money? Ready, guys?
Yes.
Ready? Sean, would you like to go first, Sean?
Would
you look
I?
eger.
Oh, Ray. some of us have been preview to my idea.
Yeah.
Some of us have not.
Okay, so Powerball was worth $1.5 billion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Am I right? Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, so if you were to have won the Powerball this past week, Sean,
Yes.
what would you do with the money?
First thing, I would deactivate all my social media. I would have my same phone number, but I would not answer it. The people I want to talk to would get a call from a different number later on that day. Hey, this is my new number. Don't you tell anyone. I would hide it. This includes my parents. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. You're not going to know either.
This
I'll tell you
involve
eventually.
money yet, you know
Huh?
that, right? This doesn't
Yeah.
involve money yet.
Yeah,
by the way.
buddy, there's a reason.
Oh, okay.
Next, I honestly would probably buy a place on the Riverwalk, probably a full floor right on the parade route, and just keep it forever and just invite friends whenever the Spurs win or any of the parades. We don't have to travel. Hey, everybody, let's go to Sean's. You know, I think I've always wanted a place downtown anyways. I would probably have a loft either in London or maybe Paris. So I would travel a lot and then also do the around the world cruise. Those would be my big things right off the bat. Eventually, I would make a movie based off this podcast, and I have people that are going to play all of us.
Oh, fantastic!
Which
Please,
are
please,
this gets way better.
give us the cast.
So
this is fantastic.
I'm going to start with Frank. It's going to be played by Ralph Macchio.
Damn, that's like on point right
Thank
there.
you.
Right on.
For those at home, Frank the producer is a spitting image of Ralph Macchio.
And that was actually Frank's idea because I explained this. I was like, let's make a movie based off us.
Ralph Macchio post Karate Kid.
Now I'm gonna be honest with myself. I said Jack Black, reasonable, not unheard of.
He'd have to lose some weight.
Huh?
He'd have to lose some weight.
Jack Blackwood, thank you.
That's what I'm saying. Jack Blackwood.
I'm glad we all got that understood. So for Jack, I love this idea for Jack. Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I could go with that. Bruce Willis or Telly Savalas. Either one. Either one works.
That guy's dead though.
Damn it, buddy. Gotta ruin everything.
I don't even want to continue this.
Yeah,
thing.
we'll just end the damn podcast now. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Now, buddy, I don't know well, but I'm going to say Edward James Olmos.
I'll take that.
He's actually really good. Now, Ray,
Jonah Hill.
Ray, I kind of want skinny Jonah Hill or
Moneyball Jonah Hill
Moneyball
or
Jonah Hill.
21 Jump Street Jonah Hill.
21 Jump Street.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go.
No,
This is funny.
I said skinny Jonah Hill. It's either that or I want Kevin Spacey because he can be an equal dick to your dickness, and I think he actually might get nominated for an Academy Award.
You know what, dude? Kevin Spacey would be on the money because
Yeah.
I am such a dick.
Yes.
He would be able to play that.
I've
to a
actually
T.
put some thought into this.
Yeah.
And for Clay, since he's new, I was going to get that kid from Modern Family. But that's everybody.
Wow. I will never unsee that as long as I live. You
Ralph
are
Macchio.
the kid from.
The Ralph Macchio, and that
Wow.
one is perfect. Oh my
Okay,
God.
all right. Okay,
that-
next.
He's a classy fella.
Oh, and then, of course,
go ahead. Sorry.
for my goddaughters, their colleges are paid for.
Yep.
Done. I'll probably
Yep.
pay off everybody's loans in this room.
Yes.
But don't tell your friends. And
Take that off the podcast.
and I mean, really, that's about. I mean, I would take care of people that I love, but that's generational wealth. I mean, great grandkids shouldn't have to work if you do it right. That's
very true. Hey, good
and
point.
and of course have a theater named after me. But that's
There
me.
you go.
Okay.
Okay, buddy, your turn. What would you do?
God, that was all complicated. I just
Why?
Wanted, I
Just
just wanted
what'd
a
you
couple.
do?
I only want a couple things.
Okay, what do you
Okay,
want to do?
I wanted to own an NBA team.
Okay.
For sure, I'd want to own an NBA team. Right. Number two, I'd like to be in space somehow for like a very long time. It's either in a space station and Frank would tell me that this is next to impossible.
Probably.
Well, it's not completely impossible, but I mean, I'd like to live on the International Space. Is that still around? I'm sorry, I don't know.
International Space Station.
I'd like to live there for several
Not
years.
ISIS, ISS.
ISS. I almost said that too. That's about it. And that's pretty simple, but I'd say that.
That's very simple. Okay. All right, buddy. Jack?
So I did some research. PrivateIslandsOnline.com.
Oh.
Which surprisingly, for $25 million, you can buy an island in Fiji,
Ooh.
the Coral Island. But I can make the dreams come true, and for $82,000, I can buy Sweet Island in British Columbia, Canada. So I don't know. Maybe I could make that happen. No, I probably would also want to buy some kind of a major league team. Astros. Actually, the Royals. So didn't the Royals win the World
They
Series?
just
this year?
did, yeah.
$700 million.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
a
but-
deal.
I mean,
the only
I've-
thing is you have to pay the payroll monthly. Keep going on. That's the only problem. With
yeah,
it.
but you'd
No,
make,
but you're making-
you'd make
yeah, you're
so much
making
money
tons of
off of
money.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I would personally finance the rest of the Star Wars movies just because I know that they're going to make
Yes.
Well, they're going to
Killing.
make killing. It's true.
That's all I got.
Okay, Frank?
Well, I just was looking up your islands, and I came across like Penn's Island. It's
There
not
we
what
go.
I was thinking of what it was going to be. So, anyway, with all this money that I would have, how much is it? A couple billion?
1.5 billion.
1.5 billion.
So it's
I
only
would
1
buy
billion.
me my own, as much as I could get, fighter jet, preferably an A-10. It would be
Thunderbolt.
fantastic up there. Yeah. I mean, very, very pleasant
both-
to
they're
fly and
Thunderbird
everything, and it's got
Warthog.
so many redundancies that it'll stay in the air forever. But one of the main things that I would probably do is buy myself, finally, I've never done this before, season tickets to a Spurs game close to the floor, and I would buy a whole ring around the seats around me, so you would just see a square and just me right in the center. So everybody's going to know who I am, and I'm going to be that fixture up
And
there.
people in a podcast will complain that no one is sitting
Well, I was
in
just
those
going to
seats.
say, good point to bring up, Jack, because I was just going to say that if you did that, that circle would actually probably be bigger because of the people that really don't sit in those seats to begin with.
Then you're going to see me. Every time I go, hey, look, did you see him on TV today?
What's Ralph Macchio doing there?
Section 12 belongs to Frank Villarreal.
AKA Ralph.
I'll have him sitting there too. But all in all, yeah, geez, that's a whole lot of money. I would make sure I pay anybody who's just in contact with me, I would just pay off their education. It'd be great. And also, I would like to spend all that money and cure cancer.
Yes, I should have come up with that one. Darn it.
A nice silver shiny car. Anyway.
Clay?
I'd like to give all the money to the little children of the world. And no, I'm just kidding.
I'd never do that.
Ned Needlelanders?
Children. Actually, if I won the Powerball, which I didn't, by the way,
You have the Powerball.
I'd love to pay off everything for my entire family and friends, the people I like. Sorry, Jack. And I'm just kidding. Then I'd like to buy a ranch here in South Texas, live in the middle of nowhere. I don't think though that I would stop working. Is that weird?
No.
I would not stop working, but I wouldn't care.
I would
about
make this
work.
a paid internship. That's for sure.
I think we'd all make ourselves paid interested.
It's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I buy a big house and live in the middle of nowhere and work whenever I wanted to, and live off the rest of the money and save it for the rest of the generations after me, because there will be more.
Wow.
I have a very strong seed. Hi, honey.
Your wife's going to be exhausted. Yeah. Okay, so for myself, if I were to win the Powerball, the first thing I do is hire a lawyer, taxes, all that stuff. I have people that I already know for investments, all sorts of stuff to make sure that the money doesn't go away. So spending-wise, the very first thing I do, of course, is clear my debt, and everybody's debt that's in this room would have no debt whatsoever, but I wouldn't tell you I would do it. I kind of trick you into allowing me to do it because I really would not want a lot of people to know that I actually had won that amount of money.
You can't trick the willing, Ray.
Yes.
Cosby did.
So once all that debt was taken care of, wow. Wow. That was pretty good, Clay. Good job there. So anyways, so debt's taken care of for close friends, family. Then I'd probably go buy land somewhere. I don't care for ranches, but put a house on there. I would also go and get suites at the AT&T Center, Alamo Dome. I'd probably get it at the Toyota Center. Probably pretty much every sports facility in the state of Texas, I'd get a suite at. So that anytime I'd want to go to anything, I would be able to. Houses, Vegas, LA, New York, all that good fun stuff. I would give a lot to local schools, churches. Even though I'm an atheist, I would still do that. And I would... What, Frank? What?
I said, finally you come out. Sorry.
Well, yeah. Anyways, I would donate a lot of money to churches and schools, especially schools that I attended or my kids attended. Yeah. What else would I do? I would donate tons to St. Jude's for cancer research, all the stuff for the kiddos. I would do a lot of that. I would give a lot of money to AIDS research, and I would give a lot of money to a lot of other organizations that I feel need money. I won't go into that whole thing there. But, I think the big thing is that a lot of people say when you win that large amount of money, everyone thinks that it leads to happiness, but it probably ends up crumbling you down. So, yeah, it could be a blessing, could be a curse as well. But I would so much want to do more with that money as opposed to just for me. It would be much more for family, friends, and those that really need it. That's how I kind of look at it. But that's just me.
Ray, can we go to Jack's Island this weekend?
Of course we can, Sean.
Yes. Can we make an agreement if we ever come across a lot of money like this that we continue to do this podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because
Just
basically...
bigger setting and everything.
I'm not lying.
Because-
We could open a radio studio and actually blast this on.
Well,
the
yeah,
airwaves.
we totally would do that. And I know, like, I've always said, like, if I won that large amount of money, I wouldn't want to quit because I need something to do. But I probably would quit and just do this full time anyways.
Daily
And
podcast. Frank, we're doing it in post.
Exactly.
And it doesn't care if they like it or not. Because
Ray woke up and he's hungry for breakfast.
Oh, I did say I would hire a chef for my family.
Oh, that's a good one.
So
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I really feel like crab cakes. Once you get out
Crab
in the
cakes
garage.
at 3 a.m. Fresh crab cakes. That's pretty funny.
I think so.
Anyways, all right. Do we want to talk about anything else? I think we still have a little bit of time. We did the Powerball thing. Do we want to bring up anything else?
Are the Raiders going to come to San Antonio?
I'm glad you brought that up because we totally did not touch that on football. Sean's itching. Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
First of all, no. And everything, they're like, oh, well, Davis bought land and near San Antonio. Yeah, I bet he has land all over the place, too. Two, they're going to probably throw it on 35, which is going to suck because traffic on 35 already sucks. It's going to be between San Antonio and Austin if they are going to do it. Land's cheaper through there. I don't want it. I mean, I would love to have a sports team here of the NFL nature, but honestly, I don't know if I would follow it. I mean, I don't know if I would be super supportive of it just because we've gotten so ingrained between having Dallas and Houston. If we just had one just a pure overnight, I don't know if we can really get behind it. I mean, have we done that with the Canadian football teams? And I, keep in mind, I am agreeing the NFL is way past any of the other NFL things or any other football leagues that we've had come in. But has anybody ever really supported it? I don't think. I mean, we had the San Antonio Falcons 2 years ago. Talents. Is that still around?
No. We lost it because it's arena football.
Yeah.
And it was in the dome. It wasn't even in a small arena. It was in the dome. And it was just not well attended. But I think, to your point, here in San Antonio,
we just got UTSA going.
We talk about all the time is this city is very, very spoiled when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
And so we really see ourselves as, if it's not legit pro sports, yeah, we've had arena football. Yes, we've had the CFL. Yes, we've even had World Football League here. And none of those were really well supported because the people in the city see us as above that. Mm-hmm. So why am I going to waste my money on that when I could spend my money on a bus to go to Dallas to go see the Cowboys or make a trip to Houston to go see the Texans?
And the other thing is it's such a big price change from sitting upper deck at a Spurs game, which you're spending, what, Jack, around $30, $45 maybe a ticket?
50, 60.
Okay. Upper deck at the Cowboys game 3 years ago that I went to, 110.
Okay.
I mean, it's so much higher. I do understand there's a ton more space, but I mean, this city has a hard time, and I'm being very generalist here.
Sure.
Of taking a family of four to a Spurs game now. Are we going to expect that with the San Antonio Raiders? It's going to be even harder. They're like, oh, well, they're only here 16 times a year. Who's got $600 bucks lying around?
It would only be 8 times a year.
Oh, that's true. And then
it would only be 8 times. Yeah, 2 preseasons, 8 times a year, and people would plan for that. So when you go to a Spurs game, some families are lucky to maybe go twice.
Yeah.
But if you look at that total amount of money that they would be spending to go to a Spurs game, especially if they went to a really good Spurs game, it would probably come out to the same as going to one NFL game here in San Antonio.
That's true. I don't think it's going to get the support that it needs.
No, it totally would. It totally would. I do agree with you that if it was going to come here, it probably would go on 35, and that's just a disaster traffic-wise. I really think the smart thing would be to put it on the south side, 410 South, because I still think you'll attract people from Austin to come to those football games anyways. But I think that that's a better place, an underdeveloped place that could use the growth and everything that would come with it, as opposed to turning it into even a bigger cluster on 35.
You have to take into consideration the whole idea is that, I mean, these games are happening on Sundays, occasionally Monday or Thursday too. But, I mean, you're talking about the Raiders here. But honestly, I'm with Sean here. I really don't think that this is what it's going to be. I mean, we are that boyfriend who is a boyfriend because the girl wants to, friend zone boyfriend.
You completely messed up that analogy, but I know what you're saying.
Well, Sean keeps talking up there. But no. Basically, we're that team to make another team jealous.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
And that's exactly what this is. But here's the thing that kind of got my attention is that where else are they going to go now?
Exactly.
What are they going to do?
Exactly, because they are completely screwed in Oakland. And for me, the big thing of them being screwed in Oakland is that the A's want to completely take over Oakland Coliseum, turn it into a baseball-only stadium, and the Raiders have nowhere else in Oakland. There's no land there.
So where do they go?
Where do they go? That's my whole thing is where do they go?
St. Louis?
But
they don't want them.
St. Louis is already failing.
Right, exactly. Right. They wouldn't go to St. Louis. They wouldn't go to San Diego.
It's San Antonio,
Chicago,
Toronto.
No,
Toronto's about the size of Chicago. Mexico City.
Hey, that's a pretty good one there too. Mexico City.
What about
why not?
Europe? I mean,
London bullfights when it's not a football game.
And we're talking about the Raiders here. But they said, when did the NFL say that they're ready? In about 2 more years, that they were going to go and try and go for a team from London or something like that.
But haven't they been saying that for a while now? Right? No.
They've been.
Go on the mic.
There,
sorry.
you get on the mic.
No one can hear you.
Here.
Just talk right there. There you go.
They've been toying it around for a couple of years. The biggest thing is going to be logistics issues.
Oh, I'm not hearing you at all, Sean.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on. Come around. Oh.
The biggest thing is going to
There
be
you go.
logistic issues with that. From what I heard, the NFL, they're going to do it, but if they're going to have a team in London, which they want to put in, it's going to play. They're going to have 8 home games right away, and the teams that are going to be coming in, they're either going to have a bye. They're going to have their bye week after they come. It's some weird schedule, but they want to line up big chunks of games either at home or away. They're not going to do this 1-and-1.
Yeah,
and
no, they can't.
And they can't. And who wants to play on a team that's going to be on the road for 6 weeks straight?
That's true.
And then
That's a
travel
very good
back
point.
to London. It's a logistical nightmare. I think Toronto is a logical choice. I mean, they're probably getting huge population. They support their sports teams very well there.
Yep.
I mean, the Grizzlies aren't in Vancouver anymore. The Raptors are second place. I mean, it's a good sports town. It really
Yeah,
is. It's
it
just
is.
it's in Canada.
Maple Leafs.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't see it happening anytime soon. But I think Toronto's going to be where the Raiders will look at and be like, "Hey, this really isn't a bad idea." I mean, that's my opinion.
I don't know, Jack.
I'll give you I'll give you one reason that it's going to happen. Now, I highly doubt it's going to happen, but if it's going to happen, it's going to be because of Red McCombs. This guy, he's got the interest of the league. He's had a team before. He knows how it runs. Mark Davis, son of Al Davis, Red McCombs can kind of be the father figure, the mentor. And I don't know if y'all heard the ESPN radio interview, but he basically said it's his decision.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got, if he wants investors, I've got investors. I've already got land 3, 4, 5 different places to build it. I think, he can walk it through everything. And the thing that always kind of stuck with me, I never thought Jerry Jones would let another team in Texas. I was kind of surprised that he let the Texans back in.
Right.
But now, and the guys on ESPN made a really good point that, Bob McNair probably has more to lose than Jerry Jones. Cowboys fans are going to be Cowboys fans. It doesn't matter what you do with it. But, the Texans for the last 5-10 years have tried really hard to get into San Antonio, South Texas, Austin area. They're doing media here all the time in the offseason. They're going to be the ones that lose the fans if San Antonio brings a team in. But I don't know. I think it's going to look – it's looking more positive than it ever has,
Right.
but it's still a long way to go.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It looks way more possible, but I still don't think it's going to happen. That's just me, though. Anyways, that brings us to the end of Podcast 21. Want to say thank you to the guys in studio, Jack, Frank, Buddy, Clay, and Sean. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys next week. As always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud, of course. Anyways, guys, have a great one. We'll see you guys next week. And as always, go Spurs, go. I'm not going to call Jack out or anything, but don't go into his house with a black light.